We are on this chapter, fonts here. We are looking at this worksheet. Now, if you click on any of the cell, let me zoom in a bit. So probably about 112% right now. And with the control key down, I'm moving the mouse wheel forward and it's zooming in. I think this should be good. How about this? This is enough. Okay. So if you click on any of the cell on the sheet, you can see what font is being used. The standard font in Excel is called Calibri, and the size is 11. The standard size in Excel. So the standard size is 11 and standard font is Calibri. And different times you might want to consider changing these fonts in size. And if you want to make these numbers stand out a little, you can use some of the options in the font group. Maybe you want to make them bold, italic, maybe underline. So I'm just trying to overkill this. Maybe you want to increase the size. How about this one? You can certainly do that. A lot of choices here. I'm going to undo this. Any one combination, any two combinations, as desired. And these are called the toggle buttons. You press it once to turn them on, press it again to turn it off. On, off. Sometimes you may want to change the actual font type. Now, in the older version of Excel, the standard font was Arial, size 10. Off to the right, over here, I've depicted how both of these look like. And I'm zooming a bit so you can see them. Take a closer look at these fonts differences. Notice what difference do you find? Put them in the chat box if you see any difference. What difference do you see in both these fonts? This is Calibri is current font and Arial is a previous version font. Notice the difference here. About A, about B, a little thinner look. About, if you look at number 1, we got a stand at the bottom, no stand. 7 is a little different, curvy. 9 is a little thin. So you can see how you can make some changes here, the difference between both of these fonts. Now off to the left here, and I'm going to zoom out now. And at the top, we see sales and profits. The font that I've used here is called Candera, size 24. And at certain time, you may want to consider changing these. You can simply click on that drop arrow, and you can actually, before even you apply any font, you can hover your mouse on these fonts and you can see how this is going to look like, even before you apply these fonts. And this cloud symbol that you see, it means that you can download it from the internet if you want to use them. So there are tons of choices. And it's going to take you several hours if you're really an indecisive person. You want to take this decision fast, which one to use, which one not to use. I stick to Calibri. And at different times, you may want to consider changing some other options here. Let's say, how about this one, profit? Some of these options are available on the font group, some of them not. In order to use the features that are not available on the Home tab, you click on this tiny arrow at the bottom right corner of the group. It is called Dialog Box Launcher. Click on that. Now, most of these features you see are available in the Home tab, in the font group. But some of them are not. Which one? Like strike through. Let's say these numbers are incorrect. I want to strike them out. You can click on that, and this is how it would look like. I click OK. All these numbers are striked. Now, it doesn't mean that they are impacting the calculation. There is no impact on the calculation. It's only the way that you see. If you double click, nothing happens there. It's just a number. It's just the font, or it's just the appearance. There is no impact on the calculation, even if you strike these numbers out. And I'm going to undo this one. Here we go. So maybe you want to change these settings, a different combination, maybe put them bold, increase the font size, use some colors here. If you click on this pull down, you have some theme colors that is applied, some standard colors that you can use, or some recent colors. If you're not happy with these colors options, you click on more colors, and you got 16 billion color options here. You can pick and choose whatever makes you happy. Maybe you will find your favorite pink. And when you're done, you can see how this is going to look like, whatever you want, and you click OK, and then that's it. So that color will be applied. So you can probably want to use this one. Maybe yes, maybe no. I'll stay away from this. So I'm going to undo this. How about yes? We are back to where we were. No damage to the data. So, a lot of choices here. Oddly enough, maybe some of them necessary, some of them not. Different capabilities here for working with different font choices. Primarily from the menu, occasionally from the dialog box that you can get it from here. Align, wrap, and merge. Now, you can easily, without any doubt, use three options here. These three words, three different features: align, wrap, and merge. Now, these features are used at different times for different occasions, for different reasons. Now, these text entries from A4 and down may look just fine to me, maybe to you too. And on this occasion only, I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can see them clearly. How about this? Right. This one should be good. And I'm going to make these columns a little wider. A little more. A little less. And that should be good. Now these text entries from A4 to down looks fine to me, probably to you too. But how would they look if I align them to the right side of the cell? On the alignment group, I'm calling them groups. You remember in the day one when I mentioned these are called groups. They are the group names. So in the alignment group, you have these alignment options. Now 6 options are there. By default, text entries are left aligned and number entries are right aligned. So I'm going to align them to the right here. Click on this. Now they look, oddly enough, doesn't look right to me. So we can probably center them. Maybe you like it, maybe not. But if you don't select any of these options, text entries will automatically go to the left. And at a different time, you might want to change your mind, specifically with numbers. And we don't deal with aligning these numbers to the right or center or left. They're just the way they are. All the numbers are on the right line by default. But occasionally, you may want to consider changing these alignments. How about this one? But there's a catch. Okay. So I have these numbers out there. I want to align them. They are not aligned anywhere. I want to align them to the center. Can I do that? Of course, you can go here and click on center. And they will be aligned to the center. To the left, they will be aligned to the left. But can I do that actually? If I click on center, you see what happens? No? Probably you might miss that. Keep an eye. Put the answer in the chat box. Tell me what happens. I'm going to put them in the left. Align left. You saw what happened? Put your answer in the chat box if you see. How about now? Probably missing that. You see? What's happening? Nothing is happening. It's not even moving. And on sometimes you might see those rupee symbol will jump to left and right. That's it. Numbers are not moving at all. Okay, let's take a look at these ones. Can I align them to the center? Yes, I can. How about left? We can. And if I don't align anything, it will automatically jump to right. How about this one? Can I align them to the center? And you would say, yeah. What happened? Nothing happened. Now, depending on, and you might say, okay, what's happening? Some of these numbers you can align. Some of these numbers you cannot align, only the symbol is moving. Some of these numbers won't even react to it. So what is happening? Now, depending upon what the format of the number is, you can or cannot align these numbers to the right or center, left or center. But numbers by default should always be right aligned, unless they are ID numbers. Always. No exception to this. Now, depending on what format of these numbers is being used, it's an accounting format. What is the format here? It's a percentage format. What is the format here? It's some custom format. So depending on what format of the number is, you can or cannot align those numbers to the center or to the left. And you can actually try it. So some of them you may align, some of them you may not. Now this is custom. Can I do that? Nothing happens. But if I change these numbers to currency format, currency, and now if I want to align them, keep an eye. Yes, we can. But some of them we can't. And you see the symbol also, it's very closer to the number, but that's a different story. So the symbol is far from the number. So the idea here is, depending on what format of the number is being used, you can and cannot align these numbers to the left or center. Now, we have the months at the top that we are using. Now, we want to put in the total here. Now, this total here is not actually a total. It would be wrong to say, because this is a total, this is a total. So what is the difference? This total is actually a 6-month total, or I could say half yearly total. That should be the appropriate word. But that's not a total. That's an half yearly total. And this is an average. This is not a total here. So I want to change this to half yearly total without changing the column width, because I am actually using a lot of column width here to the maximum. And if I try here, type in maybe half yearly total, half yearly total. Now you see it is spilling across to the next cell. And over here I'm typing half yearly average total. And it is going somewhere else. Now I don't want to increase the width of the column, but I want to see half yearly total in this entire cell. So what we can do is we can take an advantage of a feature which is called the wrap text. And how does it work? While typing, I am typing half yearly total, and you can break the lines. Now when one wants to break the line, use Alt Enter on the keyboard, and you can enter a new line. When you press Alt Enter, it jumps to the next line, and when you press Enter, it will only make the row taller, and the column width will not be impacted. How about this one? And I'm going to put Alt Enter, I press Enter, and over here. Now the row will become taller, but the column width will not change at all. So I can have do something like this, or you can go to the wrap text in the alignment group, and you can wrap it on your terms and conditions. The title at the top from A1, I want to make sure that this title is spread across in the center. I want to see that title in the center. Right now the title is on the far left. That makes sense. So maybe I want to make it centered. How about this one? But that doesn't work. So I want to change this to spread across all these cells. And how we want to do it? We want to merge them across. So I'll select the cells that I want to merge them. And then in the alignment group, we have an option, merge and center. Click on that. And now my sales and first half projections are within the center. Now I have A1 cell. After A1, I've merged A1, B1, C1, D1, E1 to I1 to A1. Now this entire cell is called A1. After A1, I have a J1. You see here? After A1, I have J1. Now, I don't have a B1 in this sheet now. I don't have a C1, D1. And same thing I want to do with this one. Merge and center. And over here, you see, I don't have B2 here. After A2, I have J2. Now, there is no B2 there. So we have merged all these cells across, and we can use them to make our title stand out a bit. These months here that we see, maybe we want to orient them. In the alignment group, you see an AB written to change the orientation. Click on that. You'll have certain options here. Counterclockwise, looks like this. Clockwise, and then we have vertical text up. Doesn't look good to me. Rotate text up. Sometimes I've seen people using this one. Rotate text down. I think almost everybody will discard this option. But you can rotate this, orient this text, or rotate this text on your terms and conditions. Maybe somebody told you you can rotate it to 13° north, right? Okay. Go to Format Cell Alignment, and over here you have orientation, and you can set your degree. Maybe 13°. How about this one? 13 degree. And click OK. Now the angle is 13 degrees to the north. So you can probably rotate these, orient your text on your terms and conditions, probably. And if you don't want to do anything, simply go to AppMac and make it 0 degree. So as soon as you click on 0, it becomes 0, it will become red. There it is. The color changes to tell you that, okay, this is a flat 180 degrees. And you click OK, and here we go. So a lot of choices here to pick and choose from on your terms and conditions. Several features available, either in the alignment group or by the way of dialog box launcher. Here are some of the choices available on the alignment group that you can use to align your text to make your text look stand out a bit, to make your text look differently and put some visual flair on it. Alright, clear. Just type in C if all clear in the chat box. Put in C in the chat box if all clear. Put in C in the chat box if all clear. Yeah. Let's move on to borders. And if you have a question, please put them in the chat box. I'll take it right away. And or if you have a question later, submit it on the link, Google share link that I've shared. Let's start with zooming in a bit. This should be good. We can give special emphasis to certain cells in Excel in a variety of different ways. Quite a few tools available on the font group in the alignment group. In the font group, you have bold, italic, underline, and there is a border feature. Let's imagine we want all these numbers to stand out a bit. I select these cells here, and I want to put a border across them. In the border section in the font group, you got different sections here. You see those thin lines here, 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 here. These are sections. You got bottom border, top border, left border, right border, no border, all border, outside border, thick outside border. Different choices here to choose from. How about outside border? If I click on outside border, normally you won't see the effect of border unless you click elsewhere. Here it is, outside border. How about a thicker look? This is a thinner border. I want a thicker border, thick border outside. Have we got a border here? And let's give this data highlighted and pursue some other options. Go back here, no border, all borders. You have all border option there. And then thick border outside. You can all apply the features here. Here it is. If you're not happy with the black border, maybe you want to consider changing the colors. Maybe you want a diagonal border. How do I put a diagonal border? Not an option. Don't worry. Click on More Borders. And it will take you to Format Cell dialog box launcher here in the border section. You got some different lines here. And there's a preview box. Here are pre-settings, the borders pre-settings that you can pick and choose. Color option, you can choose the colors. And here's a box. You can click within the box to apply or remove the feature. Here it is, no border right now. But I want to change the border. Maybe how about this line and this color? Maybe here. This line, this color, here. This line, this color, this line, this color, this line, this color, this line, This color. This line. How about diagonal? How about this line? Yeah. And you can design the borders on your terms and conditions. And if you click OK, boom. The question is, who designed the border like this? Probably nobody. But you have an option, you have a choice. If you want, you can certainly do that. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But you want to get rid of it very easily. Click on this pull down, and you have an option here, erase border. Click on that, now you got an eraser. And you can simply erase them. And you can also draw the border. How about this one? And you can select which line you want to use, which line color you want to use, what line style you want to use. How about this one? And you can use them. Erase. And here we go. It's gone. How about a border grid? Click on that, now you have a grid here. And you can simply click and design the border. Very easy. Sometimes this is faster to do. So you can actually design the borders on your terms and conditions. Whenever necessary, make your data stand out. Very easy to apply feature, easy to remove. When you are done, simply press Escape key to get it back to your 3-dimensional plus. So for special effects, apply borders, take them off at different times. It makes data stand out a bit. Available on the phone group in the Home tab. Any question? Put this in the chat box. All clear. Just type in B for borders in the chat. I would know that you're all done. All clear. Type in B in the chat box. All clear. Type in B in the chat box. Well, any question? Put them in the chat box. Or type in B in the chat box. B. Okay, see a couple of B's here. B, 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 B. Let's move on. Numeric. Excel has quite a few different ways to format numbers. Now we have looking at a worksheet called Numeric in the workbook formatting. Quite a different number types here. These are Aadhaar numbers here that we can see. And just a friendly reminder, these are random generated numbers. These are not a real Aadhaar number. Don't try to get a phone number for this Aadhaar number. Right? And don't try to call them. These are all random generated phone numbers. So, and I'm very confident I didn't put your number there. So, let's look at these numbers here. And I'm going to zoom in a bit. Can you tell me what's wrong with these numbers here? These Aadhaar numbers. Do you see anything wrong? Put your answer in the chat box. What is wrong with these numbers? Anything unusual that you see? We have these Aadhaar numbers, but what's wrong here? Looks right to me. They're 12 digits. So, doesn't seem anything wrong. But what is an Aadhaar number? Somebody who doesn't know what is an Aadhaar number, he can simply copy this and put it on Google to see what is an Aadhaar number. But you really don't need to do that. In the day one, I mentioned that you have Google inbuilt in your Excel. Simply right-click, Smart Lookup. Click on Smart Lookup, and you would see Aadhaar number powered by Bing. So it is searching on the internet. I want to see a picture. Click on media, and I see a lot of Aadhaar numbers. Oh, it looks like this. 4-4-4. Yes, somebody just said right. Space between each four numbers. So we don't have a space between each four numbers. So we want to see the space between each four numbers. And this list can be huge. But we got maybe about 70 people. This could be 7,000 people or 70,000 people or 700,000 people. And do we need to do it manually, putting the space between every four numbers here? So we can certainly do that if we want to. And if we do it, we're actually changing the number. Now this number has actually changed. If you look at the formula bar, this number is now not a number. That's why it's jumped to the right, to the left. Now Excel will not scream at you and say that, okay, what are you doing? You changed me. You changed the number. And we're not changing the number here. But we want to be able to see the space between all these numbers by making sure this number stays on the right. That's going to be a problem. How we are going to do that? So we have these Aadhaar numbers here. And we want to be able to put a space between these numbers. So we want to change the format, the way the numbers are looked or be seen. Now somebody might say, okay, we can put it once and then we can use Format Painter. That's not going to happen. You will be actually changing the number, and that's not what we want. So what we want to do here is, we want to be able to change these Aadhaar numbers. So, in order to change the format, we can simply click on the Font Group dialog box launcher. And over here, we have Format Cell dialog box launcher. We can go to the Number tab. And let's take a look. Do we have anything for Aadhaar number? Do we see anything which says Aadhaar number? No. We have date, time, percentage, a lot of different formatting options of the numbers. We have special, but we don't see Aadhaar number. But we have custom. Custom means we can create or customize our options on our terms and conditions. And in the General tab, we click on that and we can remove what's in there. And over here, that's a sample. That's how it's going to look like. But remember, to remove the formats, 0 is for a character. Now, if I put a 0, you see the actual number which is highlighted. This is the actual number. You see that over here. Now, how does the Aadhaar number look like? It's a 4 characters, and then there is a space, then there is a 4th character. And 0 is a character. So I'm going to put in 4 zeros. Then I'm putting a space. Then I'm putting a 4 more characters. You see how the number is forming at the top. And 4 more characters. Now, this is actually how my Aadhaar number should look like. And then click OK. And boom. Now my Aadhaar number, it looks like a real Aadhaar number in the picture. And it's also on the right. But look at the formula bar. It's still, there is no space. Did I put a manual space in them? No, there is no space. If we double click, it's just a number. There is no space at all. But you are still seeing a space because it's a virtual space. It's only an appearance. And now we can format it, and boom. Now we can format the copy.format. So now all these Aadhaar numbers have a space in them without putting an actual space. And let's say if I put a new entry here, let's say if I put a new person name here, Anand, Sharad, and I'm going to put in my Aadhaar number there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Don't worry, this is not my real Aadhaar number. And as soon as I press enter, boom, There is a space in it. Did I put a physical space in that? No. I simply typed a number. But somebody didn't knew. He just put in an Aadhaar number with a space. What happens? See, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a space. Now I'm putting a physical space. You see that? 1, 2, 3, 4, space, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I press enter. You see that number stays on the left because that's not a number. That is not a number. Right. So I'm going to put this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Direct. No spaces. I press enter. There is a space. So these are the virtual numbers here. Now somebody asked me to show this again. Okay, don't worry. This is getting recorded and you would be able to watch the recording later as well. But I'm going to do this again, not with the Aadhaar numbers, but let's do it one more time with the phone numbers. So the process would remain the same, but this time I'm going to do it with the phone numbers. So we have a phone number here, but what's wrong with these phone numbers? Manager came and says, okay, can you please put the code before all these phone numbers, and phone number should look like 3-3-4 with this. Basically, he want these numbers to look like maybe plus 91 dash in a bracket 3 characters and then 3-3-4 and 4, something like this. So, and doing this manually will take several hours of our time. I'm not going to do that manually. So, how do we do it? And now we know, we simply go here, go to the font dialog box in the numbers group. We don't have a phone number here. We can click on custom to create our own. This is the number that you see. And I'm going to start with plus 91. And maybe I want to put this in bracket. How about this one? And then a dash. Then a 3 numbers. 1, 2, 3. Then dash and 3 numbers. Then dash and then 4 numbers. Something like this. On your terms and conditions, you can select whatever makes you happy. Click OK. And boom. You see pound because there's no space for the number to appear. Make sure you double click here or make it column wider. And boom. Now, did I put plus 91 in this number? No. If you look at the formula bar, there is no plus 91. There's no dash. But you still see the dash here. And I'm going to click on Format Painter. And boom. And copy this. And all these numbers, there's a plus 91. And there is no plus 91 there. And if I put my phone number there, you won't be able to see. I'm not putting in plus 91 there. I simply press enter. And here we go. So we have plus 91 and then a phone number. So I did not put in plus 91 there. I did not put in bracket. And if somebody actually tried to put in plus 91, something like this, try to match this sequence and dash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, press enter, the number stays on the left. Why? Because you put these numbers physically. If you look here, there is no number, just that number. We are not changing anything. And I'm going to undo that. You can put any random country code, that's not a problem. Whatever makes you happy. Hardly matters. You go back here, and where do I see here? Here we go. Maybe you want to put in plus 44. Okay, plus 44. Maybe these are UK numbers. Here we go. We are not putting anything in the numbers here. Right. Put your question in the chat box. If clear, type in P in the chat box. If all clear, type in P in the chat box. P or B, whatever makes you happy. Okay, great. And so now we got a dates here. A pretty interesting stuff, huh? So now we have some dates out there. Now, and somebody asked me, okay, is this 2nd March or 3rd February? Now, I sent this to somebody in the States and they follow MMDDYY, I follow DDMMYY. So is it going to be DDMMYY or MMDDYY? So yeah, you can automate it. That's not a problem. When you create some formats, these formats are actually stored at the in the custom. If you scroll to the very bottom, here are the custom formats that we just created. So they will keep on staying there. So you can always come back and use them. Coming back to dates. So we have some higher dates here. So now we want to make sure that these dates actually show a month. I don't know whether it's the 2nd March or 3rd February. Probably I can look at other dates and I can see, okay, yeah, this is DDMMYY. But how about if I have only 2 dates? Is it 1st July or 7th January? So in the date group, I've already got a date group there. Sorry. I've got a date group here. And if you click on this, you got short date and long date. And if you click on long date, you have 2nd March 2020. That's a big name. You can certainly do it. If you go to the font group, you got a specific section for a date. And you got some of the options available here. Maybe you want to see the day as well. And it's a big name. If you click on the font group again, in the date, maybe you want to see a short day and a short day month. Maybe MON for Monday and JAN for January. I don't have that option here. That's going to be a problem. How do we do that? Simply, let's select this one and go to the font dialog box. We can create our own. Remove. Now, can anyone tell me in the chat box, why do we see 40239 here? In the chat box, your answer in the chat box, why do I see 40239? I selected a date. It should show me a date. But why do I see 40239? I just explained that yesterday. Yeah, that is correct. It's a number. It's a number. That's why we see. So we want to change this number into the format that we want to use, which is DDMMYY. Oh, then you know D is for date. So I'm going to start with D. Single D will give me a single date. Double D will give me a double-digit date. Triple D will give me a short day. And 4th D will give me a long day. I'm going to stick back to short day and then a comma and then a single-digit date and D and then space and then month, which is short. And you have already guessed M for month, single M for single month, double M for double-digit month, 3 M's for short month, 4 M for long month. I'm going to use short month and then comma and then year, bye. And then click OK. And boom. Now I've got created my date and time, date format on my terms and conditions. And I'm going to format this. And here we go. And now, if I scroll down at the bottom here, if I put in today's date, let's say, if I put in today's date here, I press enter, it automatically showed the day and the month in the short form. I typed in something else, it shows something else. So, we got it on our terms and conditions. Everything on our terms and conditions, the way we want it. So very easy to use DDMMYY on your terms and conditions when you want to use them. Nothing wrong. And remember, you're not doing any damage to the data. It's all good. Let's look at this SAP compensation here. I'm going to make it a little wider here. Now we see the compensations here. And let's select some of them. Maybe change them to accounting format. We got currency and accounting format. I'm going to change this to accounting format. And the below one, I'm going to change this to currency format. Now I'm going to zoom them a bit so you can see them clearly. How about see now? Better? Now put, you a newspaper you might have seen in several games which you spot the difference. Now spot the difference and put your answer in the chat box. See how many differences you can spot here. Put your answer in the chat box. How many differences you can spot? They both have this symbol, the rupee symbol, and you can put any country symbol. That's not a problem. I have used rupee symbol, but if you want dollars, you can put in dollars there as well. But let's see the differences here. The first and foremost difference is the symbol is far from the number. Right? Yes or no? Put your answer in the chat box. Symbol is far from the number. And the second difference is we have after the number there is some space. Here we don't have a space, right? There is no space. There is a space after the number. There is no space. It's very close. Second difference. Yeah, noticed? Yes or no? So there is no space in there. We got some space out there. And the foremost difference is very important. I'm going to select here. Okay, allow me a minute. Something not able to select. Yeah, here we go. So I'm going to select some of these numbers out there, and I'm going to align them to the center. See what happens. You see? Or to the right. And if I select these numbers, can I align them? Nothing happens. So, depending upon which format you are using, you can or cannot align these numbers as well. So, you got these options there. The idea is, by looking at these numbers, you can tell which format is being used. Now, the question obviously comes to me on several occasions, several times. Almost everybody asks me, which format should I be using? Accounting format or currency format? Which is the best format? Well, it doesn't matter. You can use any format that you want. It makes no impact on the calculation. Even if you use currency format or accounting format, the calculation would remain the same. So I leave it up to you, whatever you want to use. But the idea here is to tell you that by looking at these formats, you would be able to tell which number format is being used. You can use either one of it. Like if I scroll to the right, you see what format is being used. Put your answer in the chat box. Let me know which format is being used here, which format is being used here. Answers in the chat box. First, second, which format is being used. By looking at those numbers, you should be able to tell. Just by looking at these numbers. Put your answer in the chat box. Somebody says first one of accounting format. Second is what? Currency format. That's correct. Second is currency. Yep, absolutely. First accounting, second currency. Now you can tell that by just looking at those numbers, by looking at those formats. You can tell. Okay, great. This is clear, very interesting topic here to tell you about different formats and how these features are being used. And you should be able to create formats on your terms and conditions. No need to be dependent on anyone. So if this is clear, just type in N in the chat box. N for numeric. Type in N in the chat box. Okay, with this, let's move on to conditional formatting. And I'm going to zoom in a bit. Ready? Ready for conditional formatting? And here we go. Okay, let's start with the conditional formatting. Excel's conditional formatting, found on the Home tab, is a great tool for highlighting data. If I hover my mouse on the conditional formatting, it says, easily spot trends and patterns in your data using bar, colors, and icons to visually highlight important values. Now it clearly says it's going to highlight important values. Now you're not going to change anything out there. It will only highlight them. And that's what it says very clearly. You're going to highlight. It's not going to change anything. Now, this conditional formatting is a combination of two words, conditional and formatting. And you might have already understood this, but I will explain again. Conditional, any condition that fulfills, the format must be changed. For example, anybody's compensation is above any condition, maybe 30, 40, 50, 60,000, it should be highlighted. It should be deep, it should be highlighted. So I should be able to see them, right? So I have these compensations highlighted here. And I want to be able to put some conditional formatting. And its features spill across different, all over the worksheet. So if you're dealing with, if you apply conditional formatting without selecting anything, the feature that you want to apply, the conditional formatting, it will apply to the entire worksheet or to the particular cell. So if you're going to be dealing with the data, it's best to highlight the column or the cell where you want the feature to be applied. So I want the conditional formatting to be applied in this compensation column. And we want to highlight some compensation based on some calculation. So I go to conditional formatting, and you see three sections here, first, second, and third. It says highlight cell rules. Highlight some cells. It doesn't say change, highlight. Anything which is greater than, less than, between, equal to, text that contain date that contain duplicate values, and a lot more. Maybe anybody who's getting greater than 60,000, so I click on greater than. And I don't do anything. I haven't done anything. And it simply is showing me some number, some random number. Of course, Excel has done some calculation. I don't know what the basis of this, but some calculation has Excel has done. I don't know. But I'm going to remove that. And I've not done anything. Even before I do anything, you can see what's going to happen. And I'm going to remove it and put in 60,000. And you want to make sure that, yeah, maybe average, maybe no, maybe yeah, I don't know. But so you want to make sure that if 60,000 is included, how about 60,000? If the compensation is 60,000, you want it to highlight, then maybe you want to put in 59,999 or 60,000 and above, or 60 above than 60,000. So I'll leave it up to you. So, and you can select what format you want to apply them. And I haven't selected anything, and you can see what's going to happen. Maybe yellow. maybe green, maybe light red text, red fill, red text, red border, or you have custom. And you got, trust me, tons of options, and it's really a waste of time. You can put some pattern style, and you can put some effects. And you got various options. I'm not going to spend the entire day on this one. I'll cancel that. I'll put this yellow, and I'll click OK. And anything which is 60,000 and above are highlighted. And this is very dynamic here. Let's say this compensation of Bhudev Agarwal, just a random name. If this compensation changes to 62,000, I'm going to change it to 60. And because it's going to cross the limit, it will highlight. And if it doesn't, if I make it maybe 50, it will unhighlight. So this is very dynamic in nature. And you can see what's happening here. Let's keep this data highlighted and pursue some other options. And I'm going to clear this rule. Let's check out top bottom rule, top 10%. Now you may want to highlight top 10%, top 20%. You can increase the or decrease the percentage here. And those cells, Excel will do the calculation in the background. You don't really need to do anything at all. Excel is doing those calculations, and you'll highlight those cells, and you click OK, and those calculations are there. Let's clear the rules. Check out some other option, data bars. How about this data bar? And you got data bars here. Now the length of the bar, it depends on the magnitude of the number here. The bigger the number, the bigger the bar. And if you think I can make the column wider to have a difference between these bars and these numbers, that's not going to happen. The bar will increase because the bar is happening. The length of the bar is the magnitude of the number from the highest number. Now what's the maximum number that you can see here? 1,16,714. Now all these numbers are compared with this number, 116,714. So here it is 112,450. That's why we have got 116,103. That's why we have a longer bar. Now if you want to make the bar shorter, you can obviously increase the maximum number. You go to Manage Rules, Edit Rule, and over here, maybe you want to change it to maximum number. Change it to 200,000. And click OK. And OK. Now the bars are shorter. Why? Because they are compared to 200,000. The length of the bar is compared to 200,000. And sometimes, let's say you're presenting this data to the management, and this compensation is semi-confidential. You don't want to show this compensation on a bigger screen. You want to hide these numbers here. So how do you want to do that? Click on Edit Rule, click on Show Bar Only, and then click OK and apply. Now you don't see those numbers. Now you have not deleted those numbers. Trust me, those numbers are already there. You just can't see those. Here it is, 70,000. If you double click, you have that number. Bar is just a visual representation of those numbers. There is no bar. It's just a number. And that is also hidden. So, and if I change this number here, maybe 129, you see the length of the bar will increase. If I make it 229, you see the bar is increased. I'm going to undo that. So, if you want to, at any point of time, you think there's something wrong, you made a mess, go back to conditional formatting, clear rules, go back to where you were. Absolutely no damage to your data. You're back to where you were. Let's pursue some other options here. Color scales. Now keep an eye. I'm going to put this color scale red, yellow, green. And this one is red, green, yellow, red. Red, yellow, green, whatever. And you got different color options here. color scales, monochromatic color, or this one. And put your answer in the chat box. How many colors do you see? Put your answer in the chat box. How many colors do you see? I'm going to scroll it down so you can tell me how many colors do you see. Answers in the chat box. How many colors do you see? Any number. How many colors do you see? Just a ballpark figure, just an average, randomly. 5 colors. Somebody says 5 colors. Put your answer in the chat box. How many colors do you see? We got 568 Celsius, 767. But how many colors do we see? Answer in the chat box. 10 colors, 20 colors. The correct answer is 567 colors. These so many colors are there. How many? 567. And you might say, okay, wow, where are those? I don't see those. Let me just sort them. How about this one? Now you see, every number is a different color, depending upon, because it's a color palette, it's a scale. So every number on that scale is a different color. This 560 is a different color than 575. And if I start to scroll down, watch it very carefully. This dark is becoming light, you see that? I'm scrolling down and it is becoming more light. It's very, their numbers, because of the number, the difference is very difficult to spot, but you see those numbers, these colors are becoming lighter, and you see those, maybe a peacock color, or I don't know, this is lime color. I only understand, peach. I only understand 6 or 8 colors. So, you see these green color. For me, everything is green, unless, it's a lemon color or maybe a different color. But you see here, this is becoming more darker. And every cell is a different color. Can you see? So, this is the magic of color scale. Every cell is a different color. Every cell is a different color because of the number. Okay, and I'm gonna undo that, and let's highlight this and take the rules. Let's check out some other options here. Now we got icon sets. We got arrows, directions. We also got traffic lights, unrimmed, and everything has a name. You hover your mouse, you see 3 traffic lights unrimmed. These are rimmed traffic lights, and these are flags. These are stars. Now you don't need to learn these names. It's not required for you to learn all these names, but you should be familiar with them. You can see, okay, these are flags, these are unrimmed traffic lights, these are what signs, these are what red to black, this is what green for traffic lights. So you need to understand by looking at these shapes. Let's say about this one. So you got a shapes out there, depending on the number. If you want to hide those numbers, you can simply go back, edit rule, show icon only. Click OK, apply. Now you only see those icons. And I'm going to remove this. So you can create the numbers or the format, change the format of those numbers based on your terms and conditions, whatever makes you happy. Clear with conditional formatting, and not only with the numbers, you can do this with the text. If you want to highlight something, maybe as some employee, maybe you want to highlight somebody whose name contains something, a text that contains maybe, and click OK. So if that name is there, you would see the names that those cells are highlighted. So not only with this, with any other as well. Maybe a date, conditional formatting. You can use that for date as date occurring or text that can take on a number. So you can probably highlight, but remember, you're not going to change anything. At any point you think anything has gone bad, simply clear the conditional formatting for the entire sheet. You're back to your work. You don't do any damage to the sheet, even if you try to do it. There's no damage that can happen. So it can give you a confidence booster that no matter what you want to do, you cannot damage anything in the sheet. When you're not happy, when you think you make a mistake or mess, simply clear the rules. You're back to where you were. Any question you have, put this in the chat box, or if it is clear, simply type in CF in the chat box. CF in the chat box if it is clear. CF in the chat box if it is clear. Yes, CCCF. Yeah, very good. Type it in the chat box. Conditional formatting clear. Let's move on to the next chapter here. Shapes. We're on this worksheet called shapes, and there are actually no shapes in there. But we can put some visual flair on this. We can easily put some shapes if we want to. How about the title at the top? Now, shapes and other features are mostly available on the Insert tab. And if you go back here on the Insert tab, you have an Illustrations group, and you get everything out there. I want to put some shape here. Click on Shape. I'm going to start with, you got different groups here, maybe recently used lines, rectangles, basic shapes, arrows, equations, flowchart, stars, callouts, and you got a lot of different options here. Maybe how about this one? And I'm going to use this. And you see a thin plus here. And in order to draw a shape, simply drag it, and you got a shape here. How about this? When you leave the mouse, you have a shape format activated. If you click outside, it will go away. If you select the shape format will activate. And how about this one? Maybe you can want to type in something, you can start typing. 2024, first half projections. And maybe I want to insert a row here. Make it a little wider, taller. And I'm going to make it smaller. Put it here. And add. And now you might say, okay, this 2024 is a little small, and all the features on the Home tab will work actually. And how about this one? I'll make it a little bigger. And if you go to the shape format, maybe you want to put change the colors if you want to. How about this? Maybe put some effects, shadows, some outline, maybe white. There we go. And maybe a little smaller. Here we go. And here we go. You can also put some other shapes as well. If you go to the Insert tab, I'm going to put some pictures. And you can take the picture from your computer or from stock images, online images. How about this? Maybe an icon that you want to use. How about Apple? How about a brain machine? or the alien space station. Click OK. I've got an alien here, alien picture. Now this is a graphic, so we got a graphic tab here at the top. The features would remain the same. And maybe how about this one? Maybe this alien or this alien? Maybe this. And outline, effects. Maybe how about this one? And I'm gonna put, maybe this is our logo. I'm gonna put it here. Right. If I go to Insert tab, you got some other options here. What a 3D model. Stock 3D model. And these 3D models are very impressive. Maybe want a space. And let's take a look at this. We got tons of options here. How about this one? I'm going to insert this. And it's going to insert a 3D model here. An astronaut. Here we have. Maybe he's a flying. And I can put some scenes out there. How about this? Maybe this. And you move it here. And you can see how you can use those illustrations, models, icons, shapes, pictures on your worksheet. It's not just a boring old worksheet that you want to make. You got tons of options about another model here. How about maybe I like a dog or a cat? How about this one? Or you have a bee here, a ball or a burger. You got tons of choices here to choose to pick and choose from. Maybe a cycle, a motorcycle, balloons. I'm gonna put a dog here. And here we are. And you can adjust some scenes out there. Maybe how about this one? And it will keep on repeating. Instead of making those old boring worksheets, you can now use some interactive options. You like what you see? Maybe also you have other options. How about inserting a shape? How about a circle? Do you see a circle there? If you look at the entire shapes, you don't see a circle. There is no circle. If you click on to make a circle, click on oval. And when dragging, when creating a shape, press and hold the shift key on the keyboard, it will become a perfect circle. And if you want to make a square, you won't see a square there. And to create a square, put a rectangle, and when dragging, press and hold the shift key, it will become a perfect square. So you can probably use them. Different shapes for different occasions on different times. We click on Smart Art. Now these are 200 different visual tools that you can use, and these features are not only available fixed for Excel. You can use them all across Microsoft products: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, whatever you want to use. Maybe how about a process or a cycle? How about this one? Maybe this. Or this. Maybe I want to use this one. And over here, I'm going to put it here so you can see them. And you can type in text one, maybe Excel, and this is Word, this is PowerPoint, this is Publisher, this is Power BI. And you have tons of options there. And then you have maybe apps, then you have SharePoint, and then you can probably do some designing out there. How about this? Maybe this. Change some colors, make it colorful. You got different choices, different options that you can choose. And these are beyond your imaginations. Instead of making the old data workbook or a worksheet, try to make them more beautiful by putting in some of those uh, pictures, some shapes, to visually highlight your important data. And there are around 200 of those items that you can use here. And let's say, how about this one? Maybe a smiley. I can use this smiley here. Maybe change the color, shape, fill. You got tons of options that you can use. Maybe smiling too much. Maybe sad. Maybe little smile. Or this one. And you get different options. Maybe more smile. So various options that you can use in order to make your worksheet look live and interactive. So these options are very useful to add some visual flair, visual options to your worksheet. So you can begin to see a lot of different options. I suggest you spend some time in order to learn more about it. Screenshot. Maybe you want to put a screenshot. Yeah. So you can put a screenshot here, maybe this screenshot, and this is a screenshot that has been added. And I'm going to close this one. So you can directly put the screenshot in the chat in your Excel file. And if you're not happy, if you don't want them, you can simply select it and press the delete key on the keyboard. They'll just go away. So a lot of different choices, shapes. We go to shape format. You got different color options, different style options, line options. You have gradient if you want to put in gradient. You can use the gradients, shape styles. You got bevel, you got glow. But this one, you may want to glow them. But this, and you have some of these options to stand out at your data. Or you can put in online pictures, go to pictures. You have place it in the cell. Now you can put the picture inside this cell. If you click over the cell. If you put it inside the cell, maybe stock images or online pictures, that picture will go inside that cell. You want to pick it, maybe this one, click OK. And that picture will come inside this cell. You see there? Here it is. And here it is. It's a tag. Close-up packaging with blank tag. So you got different options here and tons of choices to pick and choose from. Okay, great. Macros we will be covering. VBA is beyond the scope of this course. Okay, great. So we'll be connecting again. Please make sure you practice this. Make sure you're available. We'll be starting with some of the other amazing options in Excel. Thank you very much for joining in today. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.